Hi guys, today I'm going to talk about Star Trek Discovery, and this is a Star Trek Discovery theory. There are several theories out there as to what's happening and what's going on. By the way, if you haven't seen the episode Into the Forest I Go, you might want to give this a miss because, spoiler alert, I'm going to be talking about what happens at the end of that show. So, let's get cracking. There's no wasting more time, and let you guys know what I think is going on with the show. So there have been some fan speculation out there since the show first began that actually the show is taking place inside the mirror universe, and I don't think that's the case. I can understand why people would think that because it has been stated that the mirror universe is going to play a part in this show. At the end of the episode Into the Forest I Go, though, the Discovery does that awful barrel roll and then drop out of frame. That's just the worst effect I've ever seen. I mean, I don't know what the hell they were thinking when they came up with that. And it looked, because they had that whole thing where Stamets had to do, what was it, 133 jumps. It just looked ridiculous on screen, didn't it? Just like, boo, boo, whoop, boo, whoop, boo, whoop, boo. It was just terrible. It just looked so crap. But anyway, at the end of the episode, once they've sort of sorted out the whole Klingon cloaking device thing, they go for another jump and they end up somewhere where they don't know where they are. They are lost in space. Now, some people have said that, now they're in the mirror universe. I can honestly see that as being the case. I can honestly see the fact that they are in the mirror universe being, quite honestly, the best explanation as to where they are right now. However, I'm going to put something else out there. You see, I think after doing all those jumps, I don't think Stamets is right in the head anymore. He's seen way too much, and his mind has been so widely opened that he is seeing everything a little bit differently now. And my theory about Star Trek Discovery is this. I think Star Trek Discovery takes place in its own universe. It's in the Discoverse. Okay? It's not in the JJ verse, it's not in the Prime timeline, it's not in the Mirror universe. I think it takes place in its own universe. I think that's how you can explain the discrepancies with the Klingons. I think that's how you explain the discrepancy with Michael Burnham and Spock and Sarek. I think the Discoverse is another side universe. And it's running, and it's a parallel world, a parallel universe that is running in tandem with the TOS timeline. And I think that what we have seen at the end of Into the Forest I Go is that the Discovery has gone from being a spaceship to a universe hopper. And I think that given that the stylization of the show and everything is such a vast different look to the show, it's not a problem for me. I'm happy to accept that as part of the TOS timeline. But it is a problem for a lot of other people. So what if Star Trek Discovery simply takes place in another universe? It's part of the Prime timeline. It runs parallel to the Prime timeline. It's just in a separate universe. So, and what if Discovery is hopping through the universe? Could the Discovery end up in the TOS timeline universe? I think that's a fairly reasonable hypothesis. Also, have they ended up in the mirror universe? If they have ended up in the mirror universe, I fully expect that it's what we're going to see in the next episode is probably going to be the Discovery with Captain Lorca versus the Discovery with Captain Burnham on board. Because I can't see Lorca surviving. If it's the mirror universe that they've leapt into, then Lorca's not alive and Burnham's in charge. So yeah, that's what I think. But I actually don't think that Discovery is part of any previous universe that we've seen. That it's part of its own universe, and even though it's outside of the TOS universe, it's still running in tandem with the TOS timeline, much in the same way that the Mirror Universe is running in tandem with the TOS timeline. So anyway, that's my theory on Star Trek Discovery. I don't think that it's part of the TOS universe, I don't think it's part of the Mirror Universe, I don't think it's part of the J.J. Abrams universe, I don't think it's part of any of those. I think it's in its own separate pocket universe that is running parallel to the TOS universe, and that the ship itself is now a universe jumper. What do you think about Star Trek Discovery and what's going on and where they've ended up? I mean, I personally do think that they have ended up in the Mirror Universe now, but that's not to say that they're going to stay there. I would suspect that at the end of the episode they're going to jump and they're going to end up in another parallel universe. So, and I think that with what's going on with Discovery, Lorca is going to want to get home. I think Lorca is going to want to get back into the fight. So, I can see that as being an incentive to keep jumping. So I think that that's how this Star Trek Discovery is going to be different from other Star Trek shows. Perhaps it could be we've leapt into it. It's the Sliders version of Star Trek, I suppose. Anyway, there we go. That's my theory, and I'll see you later, guys.